There are many different ways that you can complete a cleaning task, but there's one thing for sure. There are some very wrong things you can do when you're cleaning that will waste your time or your money or can straight up cause damage. So in this video, we're going to talk about what those cleaning mistakes are, and we are going to correct course. And before we get into the video, I just wanted to let you know that we are having the biggest sale of the year so far. I mean, it's only January. At Makers Clean. It's our warehouse sale. It's an annual event. There are some amazing deals to be had. So I will get the link for you down below, or you can visit makersclean.com. Here's a mistake I see people making when they are trying to get rid of a stain, and that is they will rub the stain onto the surface. Now, what you're supposed to do when you get a stain is actually blot the stain and remove as much as you can from the surface before you start treating it, at which point a little bit of rubbing is okay. So rather than finding a stain, getting a cloth, and rubbing like a mad person, this is what you're going to do. Lift up the bulk of the stain. Let's say it's ketchup. So use a flat, dull edge to scrape up the ketchup. Next, you're going to get a clean cloth or paper towel, and you're going to blot, lift the cloth, and then find a clean surface and reblot, and continue blotting with a clean part of your cloth until you can't blot anymore. You've sucked up all the liquid. Once that's done, at that point, you will then add the stain remover of choice. I will link some special ones that I love down below. There are also some DIY options that you can try. Then you will apply the stain remover, and at that point you can agitate either with your finger or with a little cleaning toothbrush. Following that, you will either let the product sit or you will rinse it immediately and launder. If you saw the video where I politely tear apart some TikTok videos, one of the key themes is me getting very upset by people mixing too many cleaning products together. And here's the thing, cleaning products are designed to tackle a specific job. They are designed in laboratories by people who have science degrees and understand chemistry and have worked very hard to perfect that formula. When we then play at-home chemist and try to fiddle around with things, the results can sometimes be nothing. They can sometimes neutralize the products. They can sometimes waste products, create more of a mess that you need to clean up. And in some cases, they can even cause a dangerous reaction, chemically speaking, that can harm you. So rather than getting excited by some hack that you see online where someone's dumping laundry detergent and toilet bowl cleaner and God knows what else into a bucket and saying that that's great for cleaning tiles, please just stick with the tile cleaners. They are specifically designed to do their job. In many situations, it makes perfect sense to douse a surface with cleaning product. And that's because sometimes a product needs time to do its work on a surface, and in order for it to do its work, it has to stay wet for a few minutes. Now, if you just give a light mist, like a sneeze, on a surface, the product's gonna dry pretty quickly. So for example, when I'm cleaning my kitchen counter, I will douse it in my DIY all-purpose cleaner. However, when you are cleaning a surface that cannot tolerate liquid, it's at that point where you should know you should be spraying your cloth and then applying your treated cloth to the surface as opposed to spraying the surface. So let me give you an example there. Your television, which is most likely a flat screen, cannot tolerate a cleaning product on it. If you spray a cleaning product on your TV, you avoid the warranty and ruin its finish for life. So make sure that rather than just spraying willy-nilly, you are spraying in a meaningful, mindful way. Cleaning with dirty cleaning tools or dirty cleaning cloths. There are several reasons why this is a wrong course of action, but let's just pick the top two. First, cross-contamination. I've seen a lot of content online where people will take the same mop that they clean their kitchen or whatever else with, and they will scrub their bathroom floor hardcore. Now, what they're probably not telling you in this video is that they have a second mop head or that they are laundering the mop head between uses. But I want to make it very clear. If you are cleaning a floor in a random part of your home, like a dining room or a living room, that's fine. You're likely not dealing with cross-contamination issues. However, if you're in a space where someone has been sick or there's a high concentration of germs, such as a bathroom or a kitchen, that is the point where you want to make sure that you are swapping out your cleaning tools and cleaning them between uses for sure. Secondly, if you're using a dirty cleaning tool, you're just redepositing dirt onto the very surface you are trying to clean. So when it comes to things like mop heads, sponges, and cleaning cloths, you want to make sure that you are cleaning those after each cleaning. Now, in your kitchen, if you've got a microfiber cloth or a sponge or something like that that you're using on a relatively regular basis, make sure that you're rinsing it well with soapy water, allowing it to dry and air out between uses, and every couple of days you are cleaning it mindfully. That way you will avoid cross-contamination and you won't be redepositing dirt onto those beautifully clean surfaces. Now, this is a mistake that everyone makes when they are not being 100% mindful about cleaning. I make this mistake, I catch myself, and then I have to course correct. And it is starting at the bottom and then remembering that you had stuff higher up that you needed to clean, only to get dirt on the very surface that you just cleaned. So, as a reminder to myself and a reminder to you, the direction that we clean it is always left to right and top to bottom. Because our dirt, our dust, all of that stuff falls from the top to the bottom. And if you start by cleaning your waist-height surface and then you clean something that's at eye level, dirt's gonna fall right back onto that surface. You're gonna have to spend more time and energy cleaning. You're gonna be annoyed. It's a whole thing. So just do yourself a favor. When you get into a space, just give yourself a quick reminder, reorient yourself. I'm working left to right, top to bottom, and cleaning my way out the room. Then you won't miss anything and you won't repeat your steps. Now I know I just said not to mix cleaning products together, but I am going to contradict myself for 1 second, but it's totally safe. Hear me out. And that is when you make your own DIY cleaners. Now, we've got a link down below to our 50 DIY cleaning recipes ebook. I love a good DIY cleaning recipe, but I'm also gonna be the first person to tell you that DIY cleaners can't tackle everything. And I think sometimes we make mistakes when we try to attack a cleaning job using a cleaning product that is not appropriate for the task at hand. So even though I can make a DIY cleaner to solve XYZ problem, there's actually a store-bought or ready-made product that already exists to solve that problem in a much more efficient way at something that might cost a little more, but in terms of time and effort savings, it evens out. Also, in terms of it being safe and tested, it just makes more sense to buy store-bought. There are other examples where I just prefer store-bought because I've compared results and I get better results with the store-bought product. So I'll give you a great example, stain removers. Yes, you can make a DIY stain remover with hydrogen peroxide and dish soap. It will work. However, I have had better results when I've used liquid laundry detergent or a product like the Puracy stain remover. So when I approach a stain, I say to myself, if I'm in a pinch, I can use the DIY, but if I want the best results, I'm gonna use the store-bought product. When I load up the dishwasher, all I want is all of the dishes off the counter and out of the sink and in the dishwasher, so I don't need to look at them. However, there have been times where I have done a terrible job loading the dishwasher only to unload the dishwasher and reveal dirty stuff that then has to sit in the dishwasher again and take up space. So the lesson I've learned, the mistakes that I've made, I am passing on to you, and that is just do it right the first time. Load your dishwasher in the most efficient way, and if it's overcrowded, just take stuff out. Don't play dishwasher Tetris to the point where you've loaded it up and water and product can't spray through and scrape stuff off. If that's the case, you're just gonna get mediocre or negative results. So that's the tip. Don't overcrowd your dishwasher. Before I understood the inner workings of a vacuum, I didn't respect vacuum maintenance. And I basically abused my vacuum. I didn't treat it right, and that wasn't the right thing to do. And what ended up happening was the vacuum wasn't sucking, which made it suck, which really is difficult if you don't speak English as a first language and are trying to figure out what I'm saying when I say suck. But it sucked, okay? It wasn't a good move. So this is what I've learned. Anytime you are going to vacuum, you have two choices. Either empty the vacuum right before you start vacuuming so that you have an empty vacuum filter to work with, or do future you a favor and at the end of your vacuuming session, just empty out your canister, put it away so that way it's ready to go for next time. Either way, if you eyeball your vacuum canister and you see that it's full and Aren't vacuum companies brilliant for making those things see-through so we don't have to open up a whole bunch of components? Just quickly empty it. It takes seconds to do and it goes the distance. And if you think about it, if your vacuum's bin is full, it has no space to suck more dust or dirt or air in. Therefore, any of the effort that you're putting out into the world, vacuuming, is being wasted. An empty canister means your vacuum can actually do its job. Most homes are equipped with a few windows and a few fans, and I want to encourage you to use them. One of the things I think we forget to do often is ventilate. Now, ventilation is important for two reasons when it comes to cleaning and home maintenance. First, if you're using harsh chemicals, you want to ventilate. It's just better for you, better for your body, your pets, your family. It keeps you safe, and you don't want to faint while you're cleaning a shower. So that's number one, open the window. Number two is when you are showering, you want to make sure that you're ventilating as well, because moisture can build up in your bathroom. Your bathroom's a small space, and if it's not ventilated properly, moisture will linger around and you will start to see mold and mildew building up. When you are at about 50% humidity in a space, that's when you start worrying about mold and mildew. And trust me, you do not want to deal with that in the bathroom. Ventilation also helps that space to dry quicker in general, so you're going to see less buildup of soap scum over time, etc. The best thing to do is turn on the fan while you are showering, or open the window if you don't have a fan, and leave it on for at least 30 minutes, if not 60, and this will ultimately depend on the weather outside. But you want to walk back into your bathroom and not feel like you're stepping into a tropical environment as compared to the other rooms in your home. I field a lot of cleaning questions, and one of the biggest mistakes that I hear people making is they will use the wrong product on a surface for a number of different reasons. Some people will say, well, my mom cleaned the whole house with Windex, so that's what I use. Sorry, Windex, didn't mean to throw you under the bus there, but I'll hear stuff like that. Or I'll hear, you know, I was trying to clean my shower and I used this disinfectant and I still have soap scum. Well, the disinfectant isn't designed to deal with soap scum. Or they'll use a cleaner on their natural stone surface and then they'll notice that there's marring or an uneven surface finish afterward, and they'll wonder what happened. This all comes back to choosing the right product for the job. So even though you might have to go to a big box store and talk to someone, or ask me, or check the Clean My Space website, or do a little bit of homework, it's really important that you get it right the first time, because it could cause damage, worst case scenario, and at best, it's just gonna waste your time and money. So you are better off figuring out the right product for the job and only doing the job once to get those results that you want. Hey, you made it this far in the video, and I just want to say thank you. You know, we put a lot of effort into making these videos, and for those of you who stick around, that means a lot. If you are still here, do me a favor and let me know in the comments down below what you think of my silver leggings, because I like them, but some people think they're a little weird. So I'd love to know what you think down below. Now, the other thing I want to tell you is, if you are the kind of person that waits around for sales, I'm reminding you, Makers Clean is having our annual warehouse sale. It is happening right now. There are some crazy good deals. So you can go load up your cart with stuff that you've been waiting for. And for anything that's regular price, remember that you can also use the code YouTube10 to save 10% off regular price merchandise. If you're hungry for even more Clean My Space, you can check out this video right over here. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.